The massive alien ship appeared above Earth without warning. It was bigger than any city, its dark metal surface covered in strange glowing symbols. People across the world stopped what they were doing and stared at the sky. Some screamed. Others prayed. Most just stood there, unable to believe what they were seeing. Captain Ji-won Park was in the middle of training exercises when the alarm started screaming. She ran to the control room of Earth's main space defense station, her boots echoing in the metal corridors. The other officers looked scared, but Ji-won kept her face calm. She had been preparing for this day her whole life. "Report," she said to the communications officer. "Captain, we're getting a message from the ship. They want to talk to our leaders." Admiral Hyuna Lee arrived 30 minutes later. She was a tall woman with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. Behind her came Dr. Minho Kim, Earth's top scientist, and Counselor Taeyang Choi, who handled talks with other countries. The alien message was simple and terrifying. A creature that looked like a giant insect with too many arms appeared on their screens. Its voice sounded like metal grinding against stone. "We are the Galactic Council. We have watched your species for many years. You are dangerous. You fight too much. You spread too fast. You take what is not yours." Dr. Minho Kim leaned forward, his hands shaking slightly. "What do you want from us?" "You will stop all space travel immediately. You will destroy your weapons. You will stay on your planet forever. If you refuse, we will destroy you." The alien's image flickered and disappeared. The room fell silent except for the humming of computers. Admiral Hyuna Lee spoke first. "How long do we have?" The communications officer checked his equipment. "They said 7 days, Admiral." Taeyang Choi looked pale. "We have to negotiate. Maybe we can find a middle ground." "There is no middle ground," Admiral Lee said. "They want us to become prisoners on our own planet." Over the next few days, more alien ships arrived. 12 different types, each stranger than the last. Some looked like giant crystals floating in space. Others were made of what seemed like living metal that moved and shifted. The largest belonged to something called the Vorthak Empire. It was shaped like a huge claw and was covered in weapons. Ji-won Park spent those days studying the alien ships through telescopes and sensors. Something bothered her about how they moved. They were powerful, yes, but they followed the same patterns over and over, like they had been doing the same things for so long that they forgot how to change. Dr. Minho Kim worked day and night in his lab. He had been secretly studying pieces of alien technology that had crashed on Earth over the years. Most people didn't know about these pieces. The government had kept them hidden, slowly learning from them. "The aliens think they're so advanced," Minho told Ji-won during one of their secret meetings. "But their technology is old. Really old. They haven't improved it in thousands of years." "What does that mean for us?" Ji-won asked. "It means they're stuck in their ways. They expect us to fight like they do, but we don't have to." Admiral Lee called together Earth's best military minds. They met in a bunker deep underground, away from the alien ships that watched from space. "We have 2 choices," she said. "We can surrender and hope they treat us well, or we can fight back." "Fighting seems impossible," said one general. "Look at their ships. They could destroy our entire planet." "Maybe," Admiral Lee said, "but maybe not." "Dr. Kim, tell them what you found." Dr. Kim stood up and activated a hologram. It showed the inside of an alien device. Their shields are designed to stop energy weapons. The same energy weapons they've used for millions of years. "But our weapons are different." "How different?" asked Colonel Na-young Song, who commanded Earth's space fighters. "We use explosions. Nuclear explosions. They've never seen anything like our bombs. Their shields might not stop them." Ji-won Park felt her heart beat faster. "Are you saying we actually have a chance?" "I'm saying they don't know everything about us. They think we're primitive. That could be our advantage." Admiral Lee looked around the room. "If we're going to do this, we need to be smart. We can't just attack them head on. We need a plan." The plan they came up with was risky. Instead of fighting the aliens right away, they would pretend to surrender. They would make the aliens think Earth was giving up while secretly preparing for war. "It's our only chance," Admiral Lee explained to the world's leaders during a secret video call. "We let them think they've won. Then we hit them when they're not expecting it." Not everyone agreed. Some countries wanted to actually surrender. They thought fighting was hopeless. But most of the world's military leaders supported the plan. Taeyang Choi was the one who had to lie to the aliens. He appeared on all the world's television stations and sent a message to the Galactic Council. "We accept your terms. he said, though his voice shook. Earth surrenders. We will destroy our weapons and stop our space program. The alien response came quickly. The insect-like creature appeared on screens again. You have made the wise choice. We will send ships to make sure you obey. Any resistance will result in your destruction. But while Taiyang was telling the aliens that Earth gave up, other things were happening. Admiral Lee activated something called Project Defiance. It was a plan that had been prepared for years, just in case Earth ever faced this situation. Jiwon Park received new orders. Instead of defending Earth, she would lead secret missions to hide weapons and soldiers throughout the solar system. Not just on Earth, but on the Moon, on asteroids, anywhere they could build hidden bases. Dr. Minho Kim's team started working faster than ever. They took apart more alien technology and combined it with human weapons. The results were explosive devices unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. As the week ended, the alien ships moved closer to Earth. They expected to find a defeated planet, ready to accept its fate. Instead, they were flying into the biggest trap in human history. The aliens had made one crucial mistake. They thought they knew everything about humans. They thought Earth was just another primitive world that would bow down to superior force. They were about to learn that humans were full of surprises. 3 months had passed since Earth's supposed surrender. To the watching aliens, everything looked normal. Human space stations were being abandoned. Earth's military ships were being destroyed in public ceremonies. The planet's leaders appeared on television every day, promising to obey the Galactic Council's rules. But appearances could be deceiving. Commander Deho Yoon floated quietly in the darkness between Mars and Jupiter. His ship was so small and silent that it looked like just another piece of space junk. He had been hiding there for 2 weeks, watching alien patrol ships pass by without noticing him. "Control, this is Ghost 7, he whispered into his radio. "I count 12 enemy ships in Sector 4. They're following the same route they used yesterday." Back on Earth, Admiral Huna Lee smiled as she received the report. The aliens were creatures of habit. They did everything the same way every day. It made them predictable. "Excellent work, Deho," she said. "Return to base." The base Deho returned to didn't officially exist. It was built inside a large asteroid that had been hollowed out years ago. From the outside, it looked like any other rock floating in space. Inside, it was full of soldiers, weapons, and supplies. Engineer Soyoung Lim was waiting for him when he arrived. She was young but brilliant, and she had been working on something special. "How did the new engine perform?" she asked. Deho pulled off his helmet and grinned. "Like a dream. The aliens never saw me coming, and they never saw me leave." Soyoung's new engines were completely different from anything the aliens used. Instead of the energy systems that powered alien ships, they used controlled nuclear explosions. They were faster and harder to detect than anything the Galactic Council had ever seen. Meanwhile on Earth, Agent Kyung-min Bae was preparing for the most dangerous mission of his life. He was going to sneak into alien territory and spy on the Galactic Council from the inside. Dr. Minho Kim had given him a special device that would change his appearance. It used alien technology to make him look like one of the Council's servant species. It wasn't perfect, but it might be enough to fool them. "Remember," Dr. Kim told him, "you're not trying to be a hero. Just watch and listen. Learn their weaknesses." Kyungmin nodded. He had studied the alien languages for months. He knew their customs and their fears. Most importantly, he knew they thought all other species were inferior to them. The plan was working better than anyone had hoped. While the aliens watched Earth and congratulated themselves on their easy victory, humans were busy building a secret army. Admiral Lee stood in the main command center, hidden deep under the mountains of Korea. Around her, hundreds of officers worked at computer screens, coordinating the largest military operation in human history. "Report," she said to General Woo Jin-han, who commanded the hidden space defenses. "All orbital platforms are in position and fully powered," he said. "The aliens still think they're looking at dead satellites. The dead satellites were actually powerful weapons platforms disguised to look like broken pieces of junk. Each one was armed with new weapons that combined human nuclear technology with alien energy systems." Colonel Nayoung Song approached with another update. "The asteroid belt forces are ready. We have 50 hidden bases and over 300 ships. These ships were also new designs, built in secret factories on the far side of the moon. They looked nothing like traditional human spacecraft. Dr. Min-ho Kim had studied alien technology for years and built something completely unexpected. "What about our spy?" Admiral Lee asked. "Kyung-min sent his first report yesterday," said the communications officer. "The Council is planning something big. They're bringing more ships to Earth." This was exactly what Admiral Lee had hoped for. The more alien ships that came to Earth, the more ships they could trap when the time came to fight back. On the alien command ship, the Council leaders were meeting. The insect-like Vorthak commander stood before a hologram of Earth. "The humans are behaving perfectly," it said in its grinding voice. "They destroy their weapons as ordered. They abandon their space stations. Soon we will have complete control." A crystalline being from the Nethys Collective sparkled as it spoke. "Perhaps we should station permanent guards on their planet." "Unnecessary," replied another alien that looked like a walking tree. "Humans are like all primitive species. Once defeated, they stay defeated." Hidden among the alien servants, Kyungmin Bae listened carefully. The aliens were so confident that they didn't even bother to keep their plans secret. They talked about Earth like it was already their property. But Kyungmin also noticed something important. The different alien species didn't really trust each other. They worked together because they had to, not because they wanted to. Each species thought it was better than the others. This information was gold. When Kyungmin sent his report back to Earth, Admiral Lee knew exactly how to use it. "They're not as united as they pretend," she told her staff. "When we attack, we need to hit them in a way that makes them blame each other." Dr. Sunwoo Kang, the scientist working on their most secret weapon, raised his hand. "Admiral, I think I have something that will help with that." Dr. Kang had been working on a device that could disrupt the aliens' faster-than-light communication systems. If they couldn't talk to each other during a battle, their lack of trust would become a serious problem. As the months passed, more alien ships arrived at Earth. The Galactic Council was so pleased with their easy victory that they decided to use Earth as an example for other worlds. They brought their biggest ships and their most important leaders. They were walking right into Admiral Lee's trap. So Young Lim worked day and night to prepare the new weapons. Human factories, hidden on the dark side of the moon and deep inside asteroids, produced weapons unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The aliens expected energy weapons and plasma cannons. Instead, they would face nuclear-powered kinetic weapons that could punch through their ancient shields like paper. Commander Dae Ho-yoon led more spy missions, mapping every alien ship and learning their weaknesses. His report showed that the aliens were lazy. They didn't bother to scan for threats because they thought there weren't any. "They're going to be very surprised," Ji-won Park said as she read the latest intelligence reports. She had been promoted to admiral and now commanded Earth's hidden fleet. The aliens had made every mistake possible. They had underestimated their enemy. They had gotten careless. Most importantly, they had brought their entire fleet to one place where it could be trapped. As Admiral Hyuna Lee looked at the reports coming in from around the solar system, she felt a grim satisfaction. Project Defiance was almost ready. Soon the Galactic Council would learn that conquering Earth was the biggest mistake they had ever made. The trap was set. All they had to do now was spring it. The Galactic Council's armada was the largest force ever assembled in the galaxy. Over 800 ships from 12 different alien civilizations surrounded Earth like a metal storm cloud. Their weapons could destroy planets. Their shields could stop anything the galaxy had ever thrown at them, or so they thought. Admiral Hyuna Lee stood in the command center buried deep beneath the Korean mountains. Around her, hundreds of officers watched their screens with quiet intensity. After 6 months of preparation, the moment had finally arrived. "Enemy fleet is in position," reported Captain Ji-won Park from her hidden command ship. "All alien vessels are within the trap zone." The trap zone was the entire inner solar system. What the aliens didn't know was that humans had turned their own solar system into the galaxy's biggest weapon. "Dr. Kang, are your devices ready?" Admiral Lee asked. Dr. Sunwoo Kang checked his instruments one more time. "Quantum disruption field generators are charged and ready, Admiral. Once activated, no alien ship will be able to jump to faster-than-light speed." This was the key to the entire plan. The aliens thought they could always escape if things went wrong. They didn't know that human scientists had found a way to trap them in normal space. On the alien flagship, the Vorthak commander was feeling pleased with itself. Earth looked completely helpless. All human space stations appeared to be abandoned. There were no military ships in sight. Even their satellites seemed to be broken and drifting. "Begin the final phase," it ordered. "Send ships to occupy their planet." But as the alien ships moved closer to Earth, something unexpected happened. Admiral Lee gave a single command that changed everything. "Spring the trap." Across the solar system, dozens of hidden installations came to life. The broken satellites suddenly powered up, revealing themselves to be massive weapons platforms. The abandoned space stations opened their hidden weapons bays. Most shocking of all, the asteroids themselves began to move. General Wu Jinhan had spent months preparing for this moment. His teams had hollowed out dozens of asteroids and filled them with weapons, engines, and soldiers. Now these hidden fortresses revealed themselves and began attacking the alien fleet from every direction. "What is happening?" screamed the Vorthak commander as its ship's alarms began blaring. The crystalline being from the Nethys Collective sparkled with panic. The humans were supposed to be defeated. Where did these weapons come from? But the biggest surprise was yet to come. Dr. Kang activated his quantum disruption field, and suddenly every alien ship found itself unable to escape. Their faster-than-light drives simply stopped working. "We're trapped," shouted an alien captain. "Our jump drives are offline." On her command ship, Captain Ji-won Park smiled grimly. Now they know how it feels to be caged. The human counterattack was unlike anything the aliens had ever experienced. Instead of the energy weapons they expected, the humans used kinetic projectiles powered by nuclear explosions. These weapons moved so fast and hit so hard that they punched right through the alien shields. Engineer So-young Lim watched from her hidden base as her weapons performed perfectly. Their shields were designed to stop energy attacks, she explained to her team. They never considered someone might throw rocks at them. Really fast rocks. The alien formation, which had looked so impressive and organized, quickly fell apart. Ships tried to retreat but found themselves blocked by human forces that seemed to appear from nowhere. Commander Dae Ho-yoon led a squadron of the new human ships. They moved in ways that confused the alien sensors. Instead of smooth, predictable paths, they darted and weaved like angry hornets. "How are they moving like that?" demanded an alien commander. The answer was simple. Human ships didn't follow the same rules as alien ships. They used different technology, different tactics, and most importantly, different thinking. Colonel Na-young Song commanded the asteroid belt forces. Her hidden bases launched wave after wave of small, fast ships that swarmed the larger alien vessels. Each ship was armed with weapons that combined human creativity with stolen alien technology. "Remember," she told her pilots, "we're not trying to be fancy. Just hit them hard and fast." The psychological effect on the aliens was devastating. For thousands of years they had been the hunters. Now suddenly they were the prey. Agent Kyung-min Bae, still hidden among the alien crew, watched as panic spread through the Galactic Council's command ship. The aliens were arguing with each other, blaming different species for the disaster. "The Vorthak led us into a trap," accused a tree-like alien. "The Nethys should have detected the human weapons," the Vorthak commander shot back. This was exactly what Admiral Lee had planned. The aliens' lack of trust made it impossible for them to work together when things went wrong. Dr. Min-ho Kim monitored the battle from his laboratory. His combination of human and alien technology was performing even better than he had hoped. "Their weapons are designed to fight other Council species," he reported. "They have no idea how to handle our hybrid systems." The battle was not just about weapons and ships. It was about two completely different ways of thinking. The aliens had spent millions of years using the same tactics. They expected their enemies to fight in predictable ways. Humans, on the other hand, had spent their entire history fighting each other. They knew how to adapt, how to surprise, and how to turn weaknesses into strengths. As the alien fleet found itself surrounded and trapped, some ships tried to surrender. But Admiral Lee had learned from studying alien history. The Galactic Council never accepted surrender from species they considered inferior. "No quarter given," she ordered. "They came here to destroy us. Now they can face the consequences." The battle lasted for 3 days. When it was over, the mighty Galactic Council fleet was scattered and broken. Some ships had been destroyed. Others were captured. The rest were damaged and limping away, their crews demoralized and confused, but the humans weren't finished. Admiral Lee had learned something important during the battle. The aliens weren't as strong as they pretended to be. They were old, set in their ways, and unable to adapt to new threats. This was just the beginning, she told her staff as they watched the surviving alien ships retreat. "Now we take the fight to them." Captain Jiwon Park looked at the battle damage reports. Surprisingly, human losses had been light. The aliens had been so shocked by the surprise attack that they had fought poorly. "Admiral," she said, "our spy network reports that word of this defeat is spreading through Council space. Some of their subject species are starting to rebel." Admiral Lee nodded. This was what she had hoped for. The Galactic Council ruled through fear. Once that fear was broken, their entire empire would start to crumble. The humans had won their first battle against the galaxy's greatest power. But they knew this was just the beginning of a much larger war. The aliens would be back, and next time they would be ready for human tricks, but humans were counting on that. After all, they had plenty more surprises where those came from. The news of the Galactic Council's defeat at Earth spread across the galaxy like wildfire. For the first time in millions of years, someone had not just resisted the Council but completely destroyed their fleet. Entire alien civilizations that had been slaves for centuries began to whisper about rebellion. Admiral Huna Lee knew this was her chance. The Council was confused and scared. If humans struck now while their enemies were still in shock, they could change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. "We're not going to wait for them to recover," she announced to Earth's military leaders. "We're taking the war to them." The plan was bold and dangerous. Instead of defending Earth and waiting for the Council to attack again, human forces would strike deep into alien territory. They would hit the Council's most important worlds and destroy their ability to make war. Captain Donghyun Ryu commanded the first human dreadnought, a massive ship built with technology stolen from the defeated alien fleet. It was bigger and more powerful than anything humans had ever built before. "This ship represents everything we've learned about our enemies," Dr. Minho Kim explained as he gave Captain Ryu a tour of the new vessel. "Their weapons, their shields, their engines. We've taken the best parts and made them better." The dreadnought was just one of many new ships that had been built in secret during the months after Earth's victory. Admiral Young Ho Seo commanded a fleet of these vessels, each one designed to fight a different type of alien enemy. But the humans' greatest weapon wasn't their new ships. It was Agent Kyungmin Bae and his network of spies throughout Council space. "The Council is falling apart," Kyungmin reported from his hiding place on the alien capital world. "Each species is blaming the others for the defeat at Earth. Some are even talking about leaving the Council completely." This was exactly what Admiral Lee had hoped for. The Galactic Council's greatest strength had always been their unity. Without it, they were just a collection of old, tired civilizations that hadn't faced a real challenge in millions of years. Specialist Yunbi Chon had spent years studying alien psychology. She understood how each Council species thought and what they feared most. "The Vorthak are warriors," she explained to the human fleet commanders. "They respect strength but hate being humiliated. The Nethys are traders who fear losing profit. The tree-like Silani worry about their ancient forests being destroyed. So we hit each species where it hurts most," Admiral Seo said. "Different tactics for different enemies." The human counterattack began with Admiral Seo's fleet jumping deep into Vorthak space. The aliens had expected humans to attack their border worlds first. Instead, the human ships appeared at the Vorthak's most sacred world, where their greatest warriors were buried. "This is impossible," screamed the Vorthak military commander. "How did they get past our defenses?" The answer was simple. Human ships didn't use the same faster-than-light technology as the aliens. Commander Daeho Yoon had spent months mapping secret routes through space that alien sensors couldn't detect. While the Vorthak rushed to defend their sacred world, Captain Jiwon Park led another human fleet to attack their main weapons factories. The aliens arrived too late to stop the humans from destroying years' worth of military production. "They're everywhere at once," reported a panicked Vorthak officer. "How many ships do the humans have?" The truth was that humans had fewer ships than the aliens thought, but they were using them much more cleverly. While alien fleets moved in large, slow formations, human ships struck in small, fast groups that appeared and disappeared before the enemy could respond. On the Nethys homeworld, a different kind of attack was taking place. Instead of weapons, the humans used economic warfare. Kyungmin Bae's spy network had learned about the crystalline being's most important trade routes. Human ships appeared at key trading posts throughout Nethys space, not to destroy them, but to offer better deals to the aliens' customers. Species that had been forced to trade with the Nethys suddenly had a choice. "The humans are offering us technology, and resources that the Council never gave us, reported one alien trader. Why should we stay loyal to beings who have exploited us for centuries? The Nethys were facing something they had never dealt with before: competition. Their entire economy was based on being the only option available. Now that other species had choices, the Nethys started losing customers rapidly. Against the tree-like Silani, the humans used their deepest fears. The Silani were an ancient species that worshipped nature and feared anything that might damage their precious forests. Colonel Nayung Song led a fleet of ships that appeared above the Silani homeworld. But instead of attacking, they began transmitting messages to the surface. "We know about the Council's plan to harvest your forests for their next fleet," the human message said. "We have proof that they've been lying to you about their intentions." This was psychological warfare at its finest. The humans had learned that the Council species didn't really trust each other. By feeding their fears and suspicions, they could make the aliens tear themselves apart. The proof wasn't real, but it didn't need to be. The Silani were already suspicious of the other Council species. The human message just gave them an excuse to act on those suspicions. Within days, Silani ships were pulling out of joint Council operations. They claimed they needed to protect their homeworld from potential threats, but everyone knew they meant the other Council species. Dr. Sunwoo Kang had developed new weapons specifically for this campaign. Instead of trying to destroy the alien fleets, many human attacks focused on disrupting their communication and coordination systems. "If they can't talk to each other, they can't work together," he explained. "And if they can't work together, they're just 12 separate species that hate each other." The strategy was working perfectly. Across Council space, alien fleets were retreating to defend their own worlds instead of working together against the human threat. But the humans saved their most devastating attack for last. Admiral Seo's dreadnought fleet appeared at the Council's capital world, where their government had ruled the galaxy for millions of years. "Surrender now, and we'll allow your species to join our new galactic alliance as equals," Admiral Seo broadcast to the alien leaders. "Continue to resist, and we'll treat you the same way you've treated everyone else for the past million years." The alien leaders were faced with a choice they had never expected to make. For the first time in galactic history, they were the ones being offered terms of surrender. Some of the Council species began negotiating immediately. Others, too proud to admit defeat, prepared for a final battle. But the war was already over. The Galactic Council's power had been based on fear and unity. The humans had destroyed both. Now it was just a matter of time before the old order collapsed completely. Agent Kyungmin Bae sent his final report from the alien capital. "The Council is finished. Half their species have already withdrawn from the alliance. The other half are fighting among themselves about who to blame for the defeat." Admiral Lee smiled as she read the report. The Galactic Council had underestimated humanity in every possible way. They had thought humans were primitive and weak. Instead, they had discovered that humans were adaptable, innovative, and absolutely ruthless when defending their home. The galaxy was about to learn that the age of the Galactic Council was over. The age of humanity had begun. 2 years had passed since the fall of the Galactic Council. The galaxy was a very different place now, and humanity stood at the center of it all. President Su Jin-yu looked out from her office window at the bustling spaceport below. Ships from dozens of different species came and went, carrying trade goods, passengers, and messages between worlds. It was hard to believe that just a few years ago, Earth had been threatened with destruction. The transformation hadn't been easy. When the Galactic Council collapsed, many worlds had descended into chaos. Some alien species tried to build their own empires. Others retreated to their homeworlds and refused to talk to anyone. A few had even asked humanity for help in defending themselves. Ambassador Jinsu Oh had spent months traveling between star systems, negotiating with former Council species and helping to establish what was now called the New Galactic Alliance. Unlike the old Council, which had ruled through force, the alliance was based on cooperation and mutual benefit. The key was showing them that we weren't just another conquering species, Ambassador Oh explained to a group of human diplomats. "We proved that we could be trusted by actually keeping our promises." This had been the hardest part for many aliens to understand. For millions of years they had lived under the Council's rule, where the strong dominated the weak and promises meant nothing. The idea that a powerful species might actually want to help others was completely foreign to them. Fleet Admiral Jiwan Park, formerly Captain Park, now commanded the Alliance's combined fleet. It was a strange sight. Human ships flying alongside former Council vessels, all working together to keep the peace. "Some days I still can't believe it worked," she told her mixed crew of humans and aliens. "When we started this war, I thought we'd be lucky just to survive. I never imagined we'd end up rebuilding the entire galaxy." The secret to humanity's success hadn't been their weapons or their technology. It had been their ability to see potential where others saw only problems. Dr. Minho Kim's research teams were now working with alien scientists from across the galaxy. Together, they were developing technologies that neither species could have created alone. The Vorthak understand energy manipulation in ways we never could, Dr. Kim explained as he showed visitors around his new laboratory. The Nethys have insights into crystal-based computing that are thousands of years ahead of anything we had. When we combine their knowledge with human innovation, the results are amazing. This sharing of knowledge was exactly what the old council had feared most. They had kept the galaxy's species separated because they knew that cooperation would lead to rapid advancement. The council had wanted to stay in power, so they had kept everyone else weak and divided. Dr. Sun Wukang was now working on projects that would have been impossible under the old system. His latest creation was a communication network that allowed instant contact between any 2 points in the galaxy. Under the council, only their species had access to fast communication, he said. Everyone else had to wait weeks or months for messages to travel between systems. Now anyone can talk to anyone, anywhere in the galaxy. This new communication system was already changing how galactic civilization worked. Trade deals that used to take years to negotiate could now be completed in days. Scientific discoveries were shared instantly across thousands of worlds. Most importantly, small species that had been ignored by the Council now had a voice in galactic affairs. But not everyone was happy with the changes. Some of the former Council species, especially the Vorthak, still believed they were superior to other races. They had agreed to join the Alliance, but they weren't happy about being treated as equals. Commander Daiho Yoon, now in charge of Alliance intelligence, kept a careful watch on these dissatisfied groups. "The Vorthak are planning something," he reported to Fleet Admiral Park. "They're building ships in secret and recruiting allies among other warrior species. Are they preparing for war?" Admiral Park asked. "Not yet, but they're definitely not satisfied with the current situation. They miss being able to dominate other species. This was a constant challenge for the Alliance. How do you include species that don't want to be equal partners? How do you maintain peace with groups that only respect strength?" The answer came from an unexpected source. Agent Kyungmin Bae, who had spent years spying on the Council, now worked as a cultural advisor. He understood the alien mindset better than almost any human. "The Vorthak need to feel important," he explained. "They're warriors, so they need something to fight against. If we don't give them a worthy enemy, they'll create one." The solution was brilliant in its simplicity. Instead of trying to suppress the Vorthak's warrior nature, the Alliance gave them a new purpose. They became the galaxy's peacekeepers, responsible for protecting smaller species from threats. "Now they get to be warriors and heroes at the same time," General Wu Jinhan observed. "They're still fighting, but they're fighting for something positive." This approach worked with other problematic species too. The Nethys, who missed their trading monopoly, were put in charge of establishing fair trade standards throughout the galaxy. The technology-obsessed Caxi were given the job of sharing scientific knowledge with developing species. President Yu smiled as she read the latest reports from across the galaxy. Crime rates were down. Trade was up. New species were being discovered and welcomed into the Alliance almost every month. Most importantly, there hadn't been a major war anywhere in the galaxy for over a year. But the biggest change wasn't in technology or politics. It was in how the galaxy's species thought about each other. Colonel Nayung Song, now Admiral Song, commanded a joint task force that included ships from 15 different species. Her crew included former enemies who now worked side by side. "When I first met a Vorthak warrior, I thought they were just mindless killers," she said. "Now I know they have a complex honor code that makes them incredibly loyal allies. We just needed to understand each other better." This understanding went both ways. Many alien species had initially feared humans, seeing them as chaotic and unpredictable. Now they appreciated these same qualities as creativity and adaptability. Engineer Soyoung Lim was working on her most ambitious project yet, a massive space station that would serve as the Alliance's new capital. Unlike the Council's cold military headquarters, this station would be a place where different species could live and work together. We're designing it so that every species feels comfortable there, she explained. The Solani will have their gardens. The Nethys will have their crystal chambers. Humans will have their recreation areas. Everyone gets what they need. But perhaps the most important change was in the galaxy's young people. A new generation was growing up knowing that cooperation was normal, that different species could be friends, and that problems could be solved through discussion rather than force. Fleet Admiral Park often met with these young beings during her travels. Human children played with young Vorthak warriors. Nethys crystals learned mathematics from human teachers. Solani saplings grew in gardens tended by beings from a dozen different worlds. They don't see differences the way we do, Admiral Park observed. To them, having friends from other species is just normal. As President Yu prepared for the Alliance's second annual meeting, she reflected on how much had changed. 2 years ago, Earth had been a primitive backwater threatened with destruction. Now humanity was helping to lead the most successful galactic civilization in history. The Galactic Council had never anticipated that Earth would strike back. Even less had they anticipated that humanity's real weapon wasn't destruction, but creation. Not the ability to tear down old systems, but the vision to build better ones. Ambassador O summed it up perfectly in his speech to the Alliance Assembly. The Council ruled through fear and kept the galaxy weak. We lead through hope and make the galaxy strong. That's the difference between conquest and leadership. As Fleet Admiral Park stood on the bridge of her flagship, looking out at the mixed fleet of Alliance ships, she knew that humanity had found its place in the galaxy, not as conquerors or destroyers, but as builders of a better future. The stars that had once seemed so distant and hostile now felt like home. And in the vast darkness of space, the lights of thousands of worlds shone brighter than ever before, united in peace and working toward a future that would have been impossible under the old regime. The galaxy had learned that sometimes the greatest victory isn't defeating your enemies, but helping them become your friends.